The T20I leg of Australia's tour of New Zealand has come to an end. It wasn't the best of endings because the third T20I, the decider, was washed out due to rain in Auckland. And now both teams move to Mount Maunganui for 3 ODIs. They'll play for the Rose Bowl Trophy. On this edition of The Outside View, we look at those 3 ODIs. If you are going to follow these ODIs from India, the first match especially, remember you will have to set your alarm for very early in the morning. 3:30 a.m. IST is the first ODI time. The 10 a.m. match, a day game in New Zealand. But remember, it will be worth your time because we'll either witness history being made or denied, as the case may be. Meg Lanning's Australia is currently amidst a 21 match winning streak in ODI successive wins that is on par with Ricky Ponting's men's team of 2003. Australia, the women's team, last lost an ODI way back on 29th of October 2017. So all this kind of sets it up nicely for the first ODI on Sunday, that is the 4th of April. 22nd ODI win on the trot. Will that be a possibility, or will New Zealand play spoil sport? We'll wait and find that out. But that's the first ODI, and then there are 2 more in the next week. So 3 ODIs for the Rose Bowl Trophy. Head-to-head, let's take a look at the head-to-head data that we have. Australia clearly supreme. Out of the 129 matches, they won 96. Only 31 has gone in New Zealand's favor. And they last won the Rose Bowl Trophy back in 1999, did New Zealand. So it's a long, long time ago. So odds stacked against them, everything favoring the Australians, even away from home. Will they continue their upsurgence? Okay, what happened when these two sides last met? They did so in 2020 in October, 3 ODIs in Australia when New Zealand had toured Australia. It was a whitewash for Australia, but that one series had a couple of casualties in the New Zealand side. One was Leah Tahuhu getting ruled out because of a side strain, and then Suzie Bates injuring her shoulder for the first time and then aggravating it during the WBBL and is ruled out for 6 months. So those are the casualties from that series. But coming to this series, Leah Tahuhu is back in the ODI. She wasn't a part of the 3 T20Is. So that's an interesting aspect to look forward to. Hannah Rowe, who starred in that second T20I, is there for the first ODI before she leaves, and Leah Kasperek comes in. These are a couple of talking points from New Zealand's team. Whereas when it comes to Australia, when will Ellis Perry bowl? How much will she bowl? All these were the questions that we talked about in the T20I. She bowled just the 1 over in those 2 full games. The third one, of course, was just 17 balls bowled where Australia batted. But it's expected that Ellis Perry will have a larger role to play in the ODIs, as suggested by Meg Lanning in the post-match press conference as well. What are the key battles that we can look forward to in these 3 ODIs? First up, Alyssa Healy yet again, and Leah versus Leah Tahuhu and Jess Kerr. Tahuhu, as I said, is coming back in this ODI series. Jess Kerr did really well in the T20Is, but now she has to work Alyssa Healy over for a longer time because the 50-over format, unlike the T20Is where it's just a 4-over spell. So that is an interesting battle I'm looking forward to. Also remember, Alyssa Healy didn't really give Tahuhu and Kerr a lot of room when they last met in 2020. So that's an interesting battle for me. Coming to the Australian bowlers versus New Zealand batters, it's going to be Taylor Fleming that I'm keen to watch as to how she does in the ODI setup. Longer spells again, remember, and it's going to be interesting to see who opens for New Zealand. Expected to be Lauren Down and Hayley Jensen because there's no Natalie Dodd who'd open for New Zealand last series. So Down versus Fleming. I wonder if Australia will kind of unleash Fleming and Darcy Brown together. But even if that happens, that's going to be an interesting battle against the New Zealand openers. Lauren Down is making a comeback. Was slated to play the third T20, but it got washed out. That's an interesting battle for me. In that middle order, there's also Brooke Halliday as well as Amy Satterthwaite, 2 left-handed batters against the likes of Megan Shute. That's also an interesting battle that I'm looking forward to watch in these 3 ODIs. So 3 ODIs. What will the result be? We don't know, but there's more for you to read about the 21 match winning streak from Australia, and that is there in this beauty of a magazine, the fourth issue of the Women's Cricket Zone magazine. John Leather, or Hypocost as he's popularly known on Twitter, has written a piece on Australia's dominance. You can check that out on Women's Cricket Zone's website. There's the link for the download of the magazine. That's it from this edition of The Outside View. We'll catch you after the first ODI.